Excellent.
So it all leads to this. The flurf debunker becomes the flurf. I'll have a whole playlist showing you each one, and I'll actually have my video giving my full response to the GoFundMe issue and those other things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please wait for my next upload. Essentially, though, Red's Rhetoric is denied a debate with me. Well, at least, unless I meet many of his conditions. I've gone through these on my show Rock a Lot last night in the stream if you want me to fully break down each request. But these requests, all, I can just completely debunk him and get him on this very easily. These are things we should be debating if you have an issue. In fact, there's no reason that any of this shouldn't be debated other than one point, and I'll go to it. That, since my problem is with you and Sean, no, my problem is with anyone that does what you guys did, not with you and Sean as people. I know you want to make it that way. I know you got to tell your audience all these flat earth kind of tactics and topics in order to get them to do that cancel culture, us versus them thing you inspire, but I'm not going to play to it. If you want to get on your channel like you did, straw man all my points, which, by the way, that's point number 1 for why Reds won't debate me unless I admit that that Reds did not straw man me in his video response that he made to the GoFundMe issue. You did, and I have a full upload that takes the words you said, and they'll compare them to my initial criticism and further criticisms to show you that you straw man me, that you used red herrings. You just used all the fallacies that the flatties that you used to debunk used in their flattie rhetoric. Now, the issue here is that I'm not a flattie, and I've debunked you, I've exposed you, and I've shown all the things that are wrong with this whole issue, and you're just Streisand affecting it from here to the moon and all the way around the globular earth and doing what you're doing, and it's stupid. You're causing more attention to this point that you shouldn't want any more attention to because you've admitted in your stream you don't even have a good defense. Though, I guess me being a big bad guy somehow defends you guys against all those fundraisers you did every 3 weeks and to every 4 weeks in your little group of friends. How much, though, did those fundraisers, what was it? It's over 170,000 asked for from the community, from a very small pocket of people with Red's Rhetoric at the center, and it's over $70,000 that this little group received from the community. So, ignoring all of my criticisms that talk about the main problems, I can't get it out of my head. What is that called when somebody does that? What's it called when somebody does that?
Straw man.
Oh, thank you, Google. An intentional misrepresented proposition that is set up because it's easier to defeat than the opponent's real argument. All of my argument based on the amount of fundraisers and other things like the frequency of them and the small group of people that received them and the lies that were told in those certain fundraisers that you completely avoided to bring up while focusing on the, that'll be in the video that I upload, and an update that you demanding me to talk about all this is all stuff that could be addressed in that miraculous debate that you won't have because you're scared. You know that there's too much information out there that'll make you look even worse than you do now when it comes out. So I'll go ahead and do my upload. My master upload on this whole thing will be out soon here on UNIRock 2, and my new playlist that is going to it's going to center in on some of the flat earth debunkers, and it's going to pose a question to you. What has the flat earther done that this person is debunked, and what have they done to compare to that flat earther to see if it is worthy for the flat earth debunking community to call out the debunker for what they did? Because if a flat earth debunker is doing things that are worse than the flurf themselves, there's no excuse why any flat earth debunking channel that actually goes live and talks about these channels like a lot of them do shouldn't have already stood up and criticized this if they care about their community. Though these are just small points to the main criticism that I gave that was completely ignored by you Reds, thus the reason I challenged you to a debate. So funny, you can say all that stuff up on your channel, and the minute you get challenged to sit down and talk to me, you can't debate me. It seems like you can only debate people where the debate is rigged. If I agree to these conditions, it rigs the debate that we would have, and you know it. Other than the one with Sean. That's an interesting interesting little tactic there. I think you can't talk to me and debate. You're admitting you can't debate me without your friend being there. And listen to the way he words it. Since his problem is with me and Sean, that means Sean will also be present for the debate. Uni can bring one of his mods for a bit of emotional support, and so it's not a 2-on-1. Well, there's an issue there, my guy. That does show that you are too weak to actually talk to me without Sean, not the other way around, my guy. It's weird how you try to throw an insult in there when you know you are insulting yourself with the statement. But to take a step further, if I have a mod, they're not anything but a person who got a wrench on my channel. I don't know why you guys act like, I don't know, are your mods indebted to you guys somehow? In fact, the people that watch my show, the reason your little arguments don't work on them is because they've watched me just mod people because they've been in my live chat a lot over a period of time. That's how they got the wrench. It's as easy as that. It doesn't say anything more. Unless you've got something to show that there's more than that. I don't know how you're going to make, but you're not good at that. You're not good at actually showing things to put your argument out there like I did when I criticized you guys for all that time. You're not good at that. So anyway, here, let me say this to you, my friend. I do not need to bring anybody to own you and to expose the way you ripped off not only your community, but the other people that you work with. The people that watch them were even exposed to your lies and cons when it came to this. But I don't want to go too deep into it. That'll be handled with his own words in my upload that'll break down the GoFundMe situation, which I was going to do it, and then I decided not to, but I'm completely been working on it for the last few weeks now because obviously you guys are hurt by this and affected by this, and you need me to reiterate everything I said in this video too. In just a little bit, I will play you a nice chunk of my initial criticism so you guys can compare it to his stream. Make up your own mind. But Reds, you are so worse than a flat earther, and after I get done uploading my criticism of your GoFundMe stuff, don't worry, my guy. I'm going to prove that you're worse than the flat earthers that you criticize. So just keep an eye out. Next topic. GoFundMe fundraiser scammer review.
Excellent.
So this is where they make a horrible accusation against Nate Broady and hypocritically argue their points. And I can completely show them to be ding-dongs. I can completely debunk them and show that they are the ones hypocritically doing what they're doing. Take a listen.
But yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. So yes, Rockstar Agnostics, $5. A lawyer and a former New York DA is more of a threat than a registered ex-offender.
So we've got the lawyer, Nate Broady, who was a registered DA. He was a prosecutor and a former police officer who was in good standing when he left all of those positions. And we've got Warden, who 30 years ago was charged, convicted, and did time for R-ing women after faking a police officer, dressing up as a police officer, pulling them over, and then R-ing them. Now, McRae knows that he did this. The victims have provided the sufficient evidence to it. He served the time on it. There were 4 women that he did this to, and there's an interview with the chief of the police about this on Nate's channel that debunks Steve. Now you're starting to understand why he says this about Nate, huh?
Holy crap, yes. You know what? I stand by that. Nate is a reprehensible person, and if I had to be...
So he thinks Warden's a good person who he was fine with Sweet Heathen being alone in a room with, but Nate, because he debunked him, is a reprehensible person.
I will never talk to Nate ever again, ever, because of what he's done to the people I care about. Yeah,
You're triggered, Boomer.
I'd rather be in with somebody who's a registered sex offender if they've served their time.
You would rather let... Now, we're talking about Sweet Heathen saying this, not you. So you'd rather Sweet Heathen being in there with him. Well, guess what? He's not just... You keep saying a registered blah, blah, blah who served his time. He's currently being charged for R-ing his infant daughter in Texas right now. You purposely are leaving this out. You know that he's currently being charged for this. It's in your comment sections. You've responded to it. Sweet Heathen knows about it. And yet you'd rather be in the room with the guy who's right now going on trial for R-ing his infant daughter. Yet Broady with his no charges and immaculate record all of a sudden and shouldn't be it. Sweet Heathen can't be in a room with Broady, but he can with the dude being charged with the infant daughter thing.
So what? Is that a problem?
I think that was...
It is a problem. It's a horrible problem.
I think that was
because you're lying right now. You're excluding that point about... You are lying about what Nate Broady has done while excluding the worst thing Warden did so that you can make your argument. You see how this logic works? Do you see how you get debunked so easily?
One person is so goddamn unethical by going after the people I care about?
Yeah, you think it's unethical that he criticizes people. So what did Broady do? Broady did a video today where he shows all of his interactions with Sweet Heathens, which can be counted on 2 hands. I'm trying to do this quickly. What does those interactions show? That when Sweet Heathen started to spit a bunch of pro-Steve BS at Nate, he told her he didn't want to talk to her, to go away, and that was their interaction. Now, they're not alleging that they have a more of an interaction with him or a private interaction with Nate Broady. That's not what Sweet Heathen is alleging. Now, she goes forward to literally state that Nate harmed her, Nate harmed other people, while stating that she'd rather not be in a room with Nate and choose to be in a room with Warden, who is currently being charged. Let me just show you, because you're going to say I'm lying. So, Steve and Sweet Heathen, this is Earl David Warden, man accused of blanking a blanking child, due in court in Houston. This is on March 1st of 2019. This is recent. This isn't from the 80s. And this is the person who you provably are saying that you would rather be in a room with over a current lawyer, current police officer, and prosecutor. Just because he debunked you on the internet.
Breaking news on a man accused of child sex assault, now back in Harris County and getting ready to face a judge.
Earl Wooten expected in court in about an hour after he was moved from McAllen, where he was arrested last week. Channel 2's Sally Mamdou is now live in downtown, where he will soon appear in court. Sally?
And Lauren, Warden is known to get testy with law enforcement officials and continuously criticize them, but tonight he finds himself in hot water.
Well, that's what he did on McRae's channel, was criticize law enforcement.
He's known for dozens of YouTube videos.
Why are you over here taking pictures and filming the facility?
Criticize.
Anyway, I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm probably going to get in trouble or like a copyright claim just for playing that. So what's my point? Red's Rhetoric defends McRae. It's what he's done for 4 years. In fact, that's his whole internet presence outside of debunking flatties. But he's going to start debunking flatties a lot more now that he's under fire for ripping the community off provably. And his friends, too, and over, what was it? 170,000 asked for, 70,000 gained. And the person who he constantly defends and is okay with all of the actions of his simp lord over there, McRae, just accused Nate Broady of harming people multiple times over a period of 2 days on Modern Day Debate. Once, which is why I'm doing the story, but 2, even then, he went live on his own channel to continue it with Sweet Heathen because he had to have her come in and back him up after making the claim himself on Modern Day Debate. And as she said, she would rather be in a room with Warden, who is charged with doing this to his own daughter now in 2019 and 2020, and also back in the 80s was arrested for pulling over 4 women while impersonating a police officer and doing those things to them. How do I feel about all this? Basically that this is the reason why they don't debate people, instead attack them, instead make claims about them, and instead defend against those brainwashed members of their audience like they do, so that if they demonize us enough, you probably won't go watch our videos while we continually update it with real evidence, actual logic, and actual criticism. Now next, I'll start my upload in a day or 2 on the full response to the GoFundMe stuff so that you can hear their words juxtaposed with my words. Oh my God, what do I got? Nope, I'm wrong. I'm going to play it. Here we go. Send this out. I'll answer to Red's Rhetoric with, oh, Reds, so did you straw man me or not? Well, let's refer people to my original upload. Red's Rhetoric and crew scam 50,000 and ask for 100,000. That's before it went from 70 to 170. Flattie debunking community defrauded. Here you go. A good, nice few minutes of my initial criticism that actually proves that Reds is a straw man and fool. See you soon. Keep an eye out for the upload. What is the easiest thing that you can do on the YouTube landscape? Debunk flat earthers? Yeah, and it's fun, too. You can have a ball debunking flatties online. We've all done it once or twice, haven't we, Busy? Yeah. What happens when the debunkers themselves end up scamming their community? Oh, no. Would the other debunkers call them out? Can they call out their own? Or is there an unwritten rule that flatty debunkers have to keep their mouths shut? Well, except for when the flatties do it. An interesting thing has happened recently. Red's Rhetoric and Steve McRae came under fire for some of the lies they told about the non sequitur show breaking up. So, those that had donated to Steve and Reds decided to look closer at the fundraisers that they had. Like the Christmas fundraiser Steve did that ended up being predicated on a lie. That's right, Busy. Predicated on a lie. Predicated on a lie. Predicated on a lie. After Steve stole Christmas with the scam fundraiser, he became known as the Grinch. And everybody knows that a Grinch doesn't just steal Christmas. So a group of rogue donators went off on their own and started archiving the streams, where McRae, Red's Rhetoric, Sean Hufford, and AT2 Pro Doxing asked for money. They added that money up, kept track of whether or not they kept their word with what they took the money for, and people started thinking, is it okay that this very small group of creators have asked their community for over $100,000 in the last few months? 170,000 now. Is it okay that out of that 100,000, the fundraisers earned somewhere around $50,000? Over 75,000 now. Is it okay that Red's Rhetoric's fundraiser for Sean Hufford that raised thousands and thousands of dollars had its money stolen? Psh, yeah, right. And had to do another fundraiser afterwards where they changed the goal to something completely different just to suit what their friends needed money for? These questions have been rumbling through the community in the back alley of dark Discord servers and dusty Google Hangouts for weeks and even months. This has started the conversation. Shut up, crackhead. We don't know what you're saying. This conversation is a long time coming, and it's good that this conversation is happening. After this became an issue, Reds went live asking for $500 for a camera part. The way he took the money was intriguing. That's right, intriguing, since people can't understand you because of how much crack you smoke, making you mumble constantly. All the heat of the last few months has mostly went toward Sean Hufford. He constantly asks for money from the community because he knows Steve McRae and Red's Rhetoric. I mean, he doesn't do content is what I'm saying, he just knows them. At any given time, he's running a collection that continues through the months, but then we'll have campaigns that are pushed on different channels in the community to take in upwards of thousands of dollars at a time while... Damn, seems like this criticism is pretty cut and dry. I also sent this to Red's Rhetoric after he strawmanned the living hell out of me on his stream, and that's why he's broken down. Because he got busted using flat earth tactics to defend himself. Don't worry though, I'm going to completely list every fundraiser, every little piece of information, all the little quotes you guys said, all the little things you did, and I'm going to lay it out in the most easy to understand way so that a kindergartner could understand it, just so you can't get it wrong, my guy. We know what your level of understanding this type of stuff is. If it doesn't work with debunking flatties, which is basic science, middle school science, you got to reduce it down to elementary level for you to get it. See you soon. Peace. Audi 5000G. UNIRock out.
Excellent.